the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
This key player on the roster has an overlooked advantage at one of the biggest competitions going into training camp. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. First and foremost, happy Monday to all the Bears fans out there. I hope you guys had a really good weekend. And Bears fans, I was actually sitting over here the last couple of days because we're only a couple of weeks away from the start of Chicago Bears training camp. And there's a whole lot of competitions that we're going to be keeping a close eye for when the Bears do start training camp here in a couple of weeks. But the one competition out of all the position groups going into training camp that Chicago Bears fans are going to be keeping a close eye on is the running back room. Also, we know how new head coach Ben Johnson feels about his running backs. He's going to definitely lean on the ground game to open up the play action game for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears offense. Obviously, Ryan Poles did a really good job of building the offensive line so we can really have better performance on the ground in this upcoming season. And we've been talking weeks and weeks about the Chicago Bears possibly adding to the running back room. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins went to the Denver Broncos. Obviously, Nick Chubb went elsewhere as well. And it seems like Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, and the Chicago Bears are content with the current players in their running back room, which that was the expectation. And that's what we expected as Bears fans, because that's what Ryan Poles made very clear, that he wanted to go into training camp with the group that he has. So obviously they added, 7th round pick Kyle Manungai out of Rutgers. And obviously in the beginning, it wasn't the household name that Chicago Bears fans were hoping for. There was reports after the NFL draft that they attempted to trade up to add a running back possibly in round 2. But it seems that Bears fans, including myself, are starting to come around on the idea that Kyle Manungai can probably be a huge contributor to the Chicago Bears offense, even in his rookie season. And when you truly look at him in college, he definitely wasn't no scrub. He had back-to-back 1,200-yard rushing seasons, definitely showed that he can be a willing pass blocker, had good vision. He is tough. He's not that premier athlete that you want at the running back position, but he could definitely be a good complement to what we already have in DeAndre Swift. And that is the biggest thing, that we already know that DeAndre Swift's going to be running back 1, but then obviously the biggest competition is going to be for that running back 2 spot. Once again, you have Kyle Manungai, you have Roschon Johnson, you have Ian Wheeler, and you have Travis Homer. But this is what leads me to my main point on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, is that Kyle Manungai actually has an overlooked advantage to really not only be running back 2 this year for the Chicago Bears offense, but to obviously be a huge contributor this year in Ben Johnson's offense here in Chicago. And this is what someone actually believes from CHGO, that he can actually be significant advantage that, in regards to Kyle Manungai. This is what he had to say, Bears fans. He said, impressively, Manungai didn't put the ball on the ground a single time in 669 rushing attempts throughout his college career. 0 fumbles in 4 full seasons is hardly a common feat for any skill player, especially an every down back, and it's an accomplishment the running back took great pride in achieving. It's something that you focus on, Manungai said. Grip strength is one of those things that I do day in and day out. Hand strength, focusing on taking care of the football, when in traffic, putting 2 hands on the football, things like that. 0 fumbles and calls is not something that just happened by chance. It's something that I definitely focused on and worked on. And Bears fans, once again, Kyle Manungai is definitely no scrub. Just because he was drafted in the 7th round, there was a lot of scouts from the outside looking in that applauded the Chicago Bears for being able to land a guy like Kyle Manungai in the 7th round. He's an every down back, had back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. Once again, if you put on the tape, he is a willing pass blocker, which is going to come in handy in Ben Johnson's offense. He's a tough runner, not a premier athlete, but also has really, really good vision. But the fact that he had 669 rushing attempts and never had a fumble in four full seasons while in college is a very impressive feat. And that's going to be something that, he can lean on not only in training camp, but in preseason as well. And if that can actually translate here in the National Football League, that's going to give him not only the running back 2 spot here on this roster, but it's going to create that trust between not only Caleb Williams and Manungai, but obviously Ben Johnson and Manungai. When you look at the players that Ben Johnson had with the Detroit Lions, that was one of the big reasons why he actually wanted to go get David Montgomery, currently of the Chicago Bears, obviously a Bears fan favorite in David Montgomery. And one of the primary motivations for Ben Johnson was the fact that David Montgomery was really good at taking care of the football. Across 915 carries in Chicago, he only coughed up the ball 6 times in 915 carries. And obviously, when you compare that to Jamal Williams, who he replaced, fumbled 3 times in 2022 alone. So obviously, Ben Johnson values ball security. I think that's going to be that overlooked advantage for a guy like Manungai. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does in training camp. Obviously, he stacked a lot of good practices. Ben Johnson did actually single him out during the early stages of practice of a guy that has definitely improved over the last couple of weeks. So if Manungai can come and just continue to stack good practices and obviously show his ass during preseason, I think he can easily win the running back 2 job here in Chicago and definitely be a player that could be a major contributor here on this Bears offense looking forward towards this season. And I'm not sitting here saying that Roschon Johnson has no chance in the world, but I think between Roschon Johnson and Manungai, that's going to be one of the good battles to watch as we go into training camp here in the next couple of weeks. So Bears fans, I just wanted to bring this to your attention that this is definitely a battle that I'm going to be watching as we near training camp. But before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. What position battle are you guys going to be watching closely as Chicago Bears training camp opens up in the next couple of weeks? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.